Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the release hand and something that's helped me. I know, just let me preface this with archery is not a cookie cutter sport where you have to do anything a certain way or you're gonna suck. Archery is really just about being able to repeat what you do over and over and over. But then you can dive down and get really detailed and deeper in every subject, from form to, your practice routine, to how you hold the release, to the pressure, everything. So today I want to talk a little bit about my release hand and the interaction with my face and the release hand. And something that I have learned not too long ago. In the last couple years, it's really helped me. And it's more of, it just calms me down, relaxes me. So, I've been in high level competition pretty much my whole life, which has really carried over into the hunting scene for me and taught me how to, hold it together in high pressure situations, how to do little things that relax me. And I get a lot of questions on how can I aim better? How can I get my pin to sit more still? And I'd say 80 to 90% of that battle is right between the ears. Some people, have physical problems, I guess limitations that cause them to not be able to aim. But for a lot of guys, it's just right here. There's a ton of anxiety built up in your mind, in your shot program, which then you see in your pin movement. And a lot of that pin movement can come from back here in your release hand. So that being said, I've been beat by guys who have anchored their string on the side of their face where they're jamming it, where they're jamming their string into their nose, where they have a floating anchor where they don't touch their hand or the string to their face. Guys like Shane Wills, Jesse Broadwater, they don't touch anything. They're just kind of back here floating. And they shot incredible that way. I can't. That is a recipe for disaster for me, to have a floating anchor. So one of the things, a few years ago, I was watching Dan McCarthy, a guy that I've battled with my whole life pretty much, and he just seems so relaxed at full draw. And at times I do too. I feel that way, and at times I felt really tense, really like what I was feeling in my mind, I was seeing in my sight picture. But I just started watching him, and it always looked like he was kind of like leaning in. He was just there, just kind of like letting his bow do all the shooting. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to try that. So a couple years ago, I'm shooting a thumb button, and I anchored in like I normally do, but then I just kind of leaned my face into my release hand, just kind of like I was laying my head on a pillow, not horizontal, but just not straight up and all tense. I pulled back, got in my anchor, and just kind of leaned my head into my release hand and addressed my peep that way. And man, my pin movement just went from this to this. It was almost like that calming feeling, that it's like a comfortable feeling in my release hand and in my anchor that caused my pin movement to then do the exact same thing. So I think by the movement that I would have had here when I leaned my face into it, not only did it calm me down mentally, but it stopped that movement in my release hand, and then all that would have transferred into my bow arm was gone. And so now when I feel myself getting like a lot of pin movement, what I've realized to do is first I check, say, hey, what am I doing with my release hand and my face interaction? And a lot of times when I'm seeing movement in my release hand, I'm pulling away I'm getting really nervous, and it's causing me to pull out of my anchor and pull away from my release hand, and I'm getting a ton of this going on back here. So what I would challenge you to do is, if you're struggling with pin movement, or even you just want to go, push yourself to the next level, just try it. It may not work for you. I'm not saying this is going to fix all your problems, but it definitely helped me to stay calm, to stay more quiet in my back end, which then I think translated into my front end aiming as well. Definitely helped me shoot my best year ever last year in shoot-offs and high-pressure situations where I had to have a 14 to win, things like that, just by leaning into that release hand as you execute that shot. So give that a try. Hopefully it'll calm some of that pivot movement down, maybe some of that anxiety, and help you shoot a lot better.